Hello everyone, welcome to Anthropology. Today we are going to solve 15 most important questions from UGC NET Anthropology paper. First question is from Biological Anthropology and the question is, the concept of genetic drift refers to four options: gradual change in gene frequencies due to natural selection, random changes in gene frequencies in small population, exchange of genes between different population, and the last one is adaptation of population to a different environment. So right option is small population, random changes in gene frequencies in small population. Okay. There are some explanation. Genetic drift is a change in allele frequencies in a population due to random sampling of organisms, and it occurs more prominently in small populations where chance events can have a greater impact on gene frequencies. Okay. Next question is from Archaeological Anthropology and the question is, 3A system developed by C.J. Thomson classified prehistoric Europe into which stages? So from the question itself we can find another question, which is, who gave the concept of 3A system, and the answer is C.J. Thomson. So back to this question. Four options: lower, middle, upper Paleolithic period, Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic period, stone, bronze and iron ages, archaic, classical and modern period. So the right option is stone, bronze and iron ages. Okay. So C.J. Thomson, a Danish archaeologist, developed this concept in the early 19th century. And he classified prehistoric artifacts into Stone Age, Bronze Age and Iron Age based on primary material used for making tools and weapons. Next question from Social or Cultural Anthropology, and the question is, Kula ring exchange system was first described by which anthropologist? Four options: Malinowski, Levi-Strauss, Franz Boas and Radcliffe Brown. The correct option is Malinowski. From the explanation we can find some other questions, like Malinowski gave this concept in his ethnographic work Argonauts of the Western Pacific, published in the year of 1922. His study of the Trobriand Islanders in Papua New Guinea revealed the ceremonial exchange system where valuable items circulate among island communities, establishing social relationship. Okay. Next question is from Linguistics Anthropology. The Sapir-Whorf hypothesis primarily concerns the relationship between language and social hierarchy, language and thought or perception, language and economic system, and the fourth option is language and religious belief. So right option is language and thought or perception. So Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, developed by Edward Sapir and Benjamin Lee Whorf, proposes that the structure of language affects how people conceptualize and perceive the world. And this hypothesis is in two forms. First one is linguistics determinism, which is very strong vision or strong version suggesting language determines thought, and the other one is linguistic relativity. This is weak version, and this suggests language influences thought. Okay, very important question. Next question from Anthropological Method. Question is, which of the following is not typically considered a method of data collection of ethnographic research? Four options: participant observation, factor analysis, key informant interviews, life histories. So right option is factor analysis. Factor analysis is a statistical technique used to identify underlying relationship between measured variables, primarily employed in quantitative research. Okay. While ethnographic research may include quantitative element, factor analysis is not a core ethnographic method. Next question from kinship or marriage. Kinship and marriage. In anthropological term, the patrilineal descent refers to inheritance of property through the father's line, tracing descent through the father's line, male authority in the family, marriage residence with the husband family. The right option is tracing descent through the father's line. Explanation is patrilineal descent is a system where group membership and inheritance are traced exclusively through the male line. In such system, individuals belong to their father's descent group and right obligations and social identity pass from father to children, particularly son. Okay. Next question from economic anthropology. Carl Polanyi's concept of embeddedness refers to. So, who gave the concept of embeddedness? Option A, right answer is Carl Polanyi. And this embeddedness refers to, for option, the integration of economic activity within social relationship and institutions, the technological components embedded within cultural systems, the integration of indigenous economics into global market, and the last option is the embeddedness of religious belief in economic practices. So right option is first one, the integration of economic activities within social relationship and institutions. Okay. Explanation is Carl Polanyi's concept of embeddedness argues that in pre-market societies, economic activities were not separated from social relationship and institution, but were embeddedness within them. In his work, The Great Transformation, 1944, Polanyi suggested that the market economy of modern capitalism is unique in history because it's disembedded economic activities from social relations. So from this explanation we can find two other questions. First one is who gave the concept of the Great Transformation? Answer is Carl Polanyi. And another concept of disembedded refers to what? Next question from religion and ritual. The term liminality associated with Victor Turner's work. So who gave the concept of liminality? Liminality, option is answer is Victor Turner. So liminality refers to the supernatural power attributed to religious specialists, the transitional stage in a rite of passage, the symbolic meanings of religious objects, the territorial boundaries between sacred and profane spaces. So right option is second, the transitional stage in a rite of passage. Okay. Explanation. Victor Turner expanded on Arnold van Geneve's concept of rites of passage. So who gave the concept? Van Geneve about rites of passage. So Victor Turner expanded his concept by elaborating on the middle phase called liminality. This is the transitional phase where individuals exist betwixt and between established social categories or status. Okay. Next question, again from biological anthropology. The concept of biocultural evolution emphasizes the separation between biological and cultural forces in human evolution, the interaction between biological and cultural forces in human evolution, the primacy of cultural forces over biological forces, the primacy of biological forces over cultural forces. So right option is the interaction between biological and cultural forces in human evolution. So biocultural evolution emphasizes the interplay between biological and cultural process in human evolution. For example, cultural innovations like cooking food or using tools created selection pressures that influenced biological evolution, while biological traits like increased brain size enabled more complex cultural development. Next question from archaeological theory. Processual archaeology or New York archaeology is most closely associated with Ian Hodder, V. Gordon Child, Louis Binford, Michael Shanks. Right option, Binford. Okay. Explanation. Processual archaeology, also known as new archaeology, emerged in the year of 1960s and is most closely associated with Binford. This approach emphasized scientific methodology, hypothesis testing, and explaining cultural processes rather than just describing artifacts. Next, from medical anthropology. Arthur Clement's distinction between disease and illness refers to the difference between chronic and acute medical condition, the difference between physical and mental health condition, the difference between biomedical condition and lived experiences of suffering, and the fourth one is the difference between treatable and untreatable conditions. Right option is 3. The difference between biomedical conditions and lived experiences of sufferings. And the explanation is, in Clement's framework, disease refers to the biomedical conception of a health problem as a deviation from normal biological functioning that can be categorized and treated by medical practitioners. And illness, by contrast, refers to the patient's subjective experience of suffering, including cultural meanings, personal perceptions, and social ramifications. So from this explanation we can find what do you mean by illness and what do you mean by disease according to Clements. Next question, again from anthropological theory. The theoretical approach that emphasizes how people use cultural symbols and practices to construct and negotiate meanings is known as structural functionalism, cultural materialism, symbolic anthropology, evolutionary anthropology. So, right option is symbolic anthropology. So, what is symbolic anthropology? Symbolic anthropology focuses on how people use cultural symbols, rituals, and practices to create and negotiate meaning in their social world. This approach, associated with scholars like George Turner, treats culture as a system of shared symbols. So, according to Turner, Victor Turner, and Clifford George, what is culture? Culture is a system of shared symbols and meaning that can be interpreted almost like a text. Okay. Next question from political anthropology. The concept of segmental lineage system is most associated with which society studied by E. Evans Pritchard? So, from this question we can find who gave the concept of segmental lineage system, and answer is Evans Pritchard. So, here also 4 options: Azande, Newer, Trobriand Islanders, and Kwakitul. And the answer is Newer. Explanation. Evans Pritchard's study of Newer people of southern Sudan, published in the year of 1940, it was an ethnography called the Newer, developed the concept of the segmental lineage system. This political organization lacks centralized authority but maintains a social order through a structural principle where lineage systems unite against external threats, but many oppose each other in other contexts. The famous phrase, I against my brother and I against our cousin, my cousin and I against the stranger, captures this principle. So, by this concept or by this example, we can actually find the meaning of segmental lineage system or the political system in that era. Fourth option, urban anthropology. The concept of cultural citizenship in urban anthropology refers to legal status or voting rights in a nation state, claims to rights and recognition made by marginalized groups, the relationship between urban centers and peripheral regions, formal membership in urban cultural institutions. So, right option is claims to right and recognition made by marginalized groups. So, cultural citizenship developed by a scholar like Rosaldo and Ong refers to the, so we can find who gave the concept of cultural citizenship, and the answer is Rosaldo and Ong. And cultural citizenship particularly refers to the process by which marginalized groups make claims to right, recognition, and belonging in society, often despite lacking full legal citizenship. Okay. Next or last question for today. Arjun Appadurai's concept of ethnoscapes refers to traditional cultural landscapes that resist globalization, the flow of people across cultural and national boundaries, the global production of ethnic commodities, indigenous mapping system used to claim territorial rights. And then the right option is the flow of people across cultural and national boundaries. So, Appadurai's framework of global cultural flows, ethnoscapes, refers to the movement of people across borders and cultures, including tourists, immigrants, refugees, exiles, and other mobile groups. Okay, so we are sharing very important questions for upcoming exams. So please share with your friends and do like, share, subscribe, and follow our channel Anthropology. Thanks for watching.